The Golden Dome is a big defense system that the U.S. wants to build. It will cost $175 billion. President Trump showed the plan this week. The Golden Dome will use space to help stop missiles. It is like a big shield over North America. This shield will try to stop missiles from China and Russia. The name Golden Dome makes some people think of Israel's Iron Dome. But the Golden Dome is much bigger. The Iron Dome stops small rockets near Israel. The Golden Dome must stop big missiles that can cross oceans. The U.S. has never put weapons in space before. This plan will change that. The U.S. wants to have many satellites in space. These satellites will look for and stop missiles. Trump says the Golden Dome will be ready in 3 years. But some think it will take until 2029. The system will be very high-tech. It needs new things that have not been made yet. The Golden Dome is a big change in how the U.S. thinks about defense. Before, the U.S. tried to scare other countries not to use missiles. Now, the U.S. wants to stop all missiles with this new shield. The Golden Dome has many parts that work together. It will try to stop missiles at 4 times: before launch, just after launch, in the middle of flight, and just before they hit. This is very hard to do. The system will have parts in space and on the ground. The space part is new and costs the most money. It will have many satellites with weapons. These satellites will watch for missiles all the time. If they see a missile, they can try to hit it. The sooner they hit the missile, the better. The Golden Dome will try to stop many kinds of missiles. It can stop normal missiles, fast new missiles, and cruise missiles. The system must be very fast. It must see a missile and then hit it quickly. The space part is the most new and most expensive part. The U.S. thinks it needs space weapons because missiles are getting faster. Ground systems can't stop the fastest missiles. The Golden Dome will need between $161 billion and $542 billion for 20 years. This is a lot of money. The cost depends on how many space weapons they need. If they need more weapons to stop China and Russia, it will cost more. The Golden Dome will be the biggest space weapon system ever made. It will change how countries think about war and peace. Canada is looking at joining the Golden Dome project. PM Carney has talked with Trump about it many times. Canada wants to keep its people safe from missile attacks. Carney says Canada faces missile threats in the coming years. These threats could come from space. If Canada does not join, the U.S. will make all the choices. But these choices will still affect Canada. This is why Canada wants to be part of the talks. The U.S. wants Canada to help pay for the Golden Dome. Trump said he will work with Canada on how much they should pay. Carney says this is not a normal deal where you bargain. These are big military choices. Canada must think hard about them. Joining would mean Canada helps make rules about the Golden Dome. It would also mean Canada gets a protection of the system. Without joining, Canada might still be under the shield but have no say in how it works. This is a big choice for Canada. It shows how Canada and the U.S. work together on defense. Canada must think about the cost, but also about safety. The Golden Dome is very expensive. Canada must decide if it is worth the money. Carney says the talks are at a high level now. This means important people in both countries are talking about it. Canada has not said yes yet, but they are thinking about it very hard. Joining the Golden Dome would give Canada many good things. The main good thing is safety for missiles. Carney says Canada could face missile attacks in the future. The Golden Dome would help stop these attacks. This would keep Canadian people safe. Another good thing is having a say in how the system works. If Canada pays money, it can help make rules. Without joining, Canada has no voice in the Golden Dome. But the Golden Dome will still affect Canada either way. Being part of the Golden Dome would also make the U.S.-Canada friendship stronger. The two countries already work together on many defense things. This would be one more way they work together. Canada would also learn more about new space and defense tools. This could help Canadian companies make new things. The Golden Dome will use very new science. Being part of it means learning this science. Canada would also be seen as a strong country that helps keep the world safe. This can help Canada in other world talks. The Golden Dome might also create jobs in Canada. If Canada pays money, some work might happen in Canada. This could help people get jobs. The most important thing is that the Golden Dome could stop a very bad attack. Even if the chance is small, the harm would be very big. Carney thinks it's good to have protection for Canadians. This is the main reason why Canada is thinking about joining. The Golden Dome will cost a lot of money. The whole system will cost about $175 billion. This is what Trump says. But other people say it could cost between $161 billion and $542 billion over 20 years. This is a very big amount of money. If Canada joins, it will need to pay some of this money. How much Canada pays will be part of the talks. Trump says he wants Canada to pay its fair share. But we don't know what this means yet. The first part of the Golden Dome will cost $25 billion. This is just to start the work. The rest of the money will come later. Canada will need to think about how much it can pay. Canada has many other things it needs money for. But safety is very important too. The Golden Dome might help keep Canada safe from very bad attacks. The money Canada spends on the Golden Dome is an investment in safety. It might stop attacks that would cost much more. But the Golden Dome is not sure to work perfectly. It is a new system that has not been tested fully. Canada must think about if the money is worth the possible safety. Canada also needs to think about what else it could do with this money. It could buy other defense things, or help people in Canada in other ways. The cost is very high, but the safety might be worth it. Carney says Canada is looking at the investment now, but no final choice has been made yet. Carney says Canada faces missile threats in the not-too-distant future. These threats could come from space. This is why Canada is looking at the Golden Dome. The main threats come from countries like China and Russia. These countries have many missiles that can go very far. North Korea is also making new missiles that could hit North America. These missiles are getting better and faster. This makes them harder to stop with old systems. New missiles can change path while flying. Some can fly very fast, much faster than sound. These are called hypersonic missiles. They are very hard to stop. Space is also becoming a place where countries might fight. More countries are putting things in space that could be used in fights. Canada is a big country with a small number of people. It cannot defend all its land by itself. That's why it works with the U.S. on defense. Without good defense, Canada could be at risk from these new threats. The Golden Dome is one way to try to stop these threats. It aims to stop missiles before they hit. This is better than just saying Canada will hit back if attacked. Stopping the attack is better than hitting back after being hit. Carney warns that these threats are real and coming soon. Canada needs to be ready. The Golden Dome might be one way to get ready, but Canada must look at all options. The threats from missiles are just one kind of threat. Canada faces many other threats too, but missiles could cause the most harm in a short time. The U.S. and Canada have worked together on defense for a long time. They are part of a group called NATO. They also have a special defense deal called NORAD. NORAD watches for threats from the air and space. The Golden Dome would be a new part of how the U.S. and Canada work together. The U.S. is making the Golden Dome to keep itself safe, but will also keep Canada safe if Canada joins. The U.S. and Canada share the same part of the world. A threat to one is often a threat to both. That's why they work together. Trump says Canada called the U.S. to say it wants to join the Golden Dome. Carney says they have talked about it a few times. These talks are now at a high level. This means important people in both countries are talking. The U.S. and Canada must trust each other a lot for this kind of work. They will share secret information about threats and defenses. They will also share the work of stopping threats. The U.S. is much bigger than Canada. It will pay most of the money and do most of the work. But Canada can still help in important ways. Working together on the Golden Dome would make the U.S.-Canada defense team even stronger. It would show that they face threats together. It would also show that they will defend each other. The Golden Dome is a very big project. Working on it together will be a big step in the U.S.-Canada defense team. But it must be fair to both countries. China is very worried about the Golden Dome. A news story says China is seriously concerned about it. China thinks the Golden Dome might start a new fight about weapons in space. Russia is also not happy about the Golden Dome. Both countries have many missiles. The Golden Dome is meant to stop these missiles. This makes China and Russia feel less strong. They might make more missiles to try to beat the Golden Dome. This could start a new arms race. An arms race is when countries keep making more and more weapons to be stronger than each other. China and Russia might also make their own space weapons. This could make space less safe for everyone. They might try other ways to fight back too. They could use computer attacks or other new ways of fighting. The Golden Dome is aimed at stopping threats from China and Russia, but it might make these countries feel more threatened. This could make the world less safe, not more safe. Some people worry that the Golden Dome will cause more problems than it solves. But others say it is needed to keep North America safe from these countries. China and Russia have said they don't like the idea of weapons in space. But the U.S. says the Golden Dome is for defense only. It will not attack first. Canada must think about how joining the Golden Dome will affect its ties with China and Russia. It must balance safety with good relations with these big countries. The response from China and Russia will be very important to watch. Trump says the Golden Dome will be ready in 3 years. He wants it done by 2028, but he also says it will be fully working by 2029. The first step is getting money from Congress. Trump wants $25 billion to start. This money would begin to work right away. The full system will need much more money over time. Building the Golden Dome will happen in steps. First, they will make plans and test new ideas. Then they will build and launch the first space parts. Ground parts will be built at the same time. Each part must work with all other parts. This is very hard to do. The timeline is very fast for such a big project. Some people think it cannot be done so quickly. Space projects often take longer than planned. They also often cost more than planned. The Golden Dome needs new science and tools that don't exist yet. Making these new things takes time. Testing them also takes time. If Canada joins, it might change the timeline. Adding another country makes things more complex. But it might also make some parts go faster. The timeline will depend on many things. It depends on money from Congress. It depends on solving hard space problems. It depends on how countries like China and Russia respond. The Golden Dome is planned to be fully working by 2029. This is when Trump's second term will end. He wants it done before he leaves office. But big projects like this often go past their end dates. The timeline is important because threats from missiles are growing now. The Golden Dome shows that space is now part of defense plans. It will not be the last space defense system. More countries will put defense tools in space. This will change how countries think about war and peace. Space was once just for science and watching. Now it will have weapons too. This is a big change. The Golden Dome is just the start of this new time. In the future, defense systems will use space more and more. They will try to see threats sooner and stop them faster. The line between peace and war will be less clear in space. Tools in space can watch other countries all the time. They can also stop attacks very quickly. This might make some fights start by mistake. The rules for space are not clear yet. Countries are still making these rules. The Golden Dome will help shape these rules. What Canada and the U.S. do now will affect space for a long time. Future space defense will be even more high-tech. It might use new ideas we don't know about yet. It might use robots that can think for themselves. It might use new kinds of energy. The cost will likely stay very high. Only rich countries will be able to have space defense. This could make some countries feel left out and upset. The Golden Dome is a big step into this future. It will show if space defense works well or not. It will show if the high cost is worth it. The lessons from the Golden Dome will shape all future space defense systems. That's why the choices made now are so important.